Good evening and welcome. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner Clark Kellogg, bringing you the 2K Sports NCAA Selection Show. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. The media rankings are what everyone's been following for the last 4 months. But in just a minute, the selection committee's opinion is going to be the only one that matters. We've seen them break away from the national rankings in the past, and it won't be long before we find out if the committee's done it again. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
Marquette put together a solid season, but their record just isn't impressive enough to make them a no-brainer bid. If the committee doesn't give weight to their tough conference, they could be out of luck.
You got that right, and who else might be in the same position?
Hawaii, and take comfort in the fact that there have been so many great showings by non-power conference schools in the tournament in the past few years. The committee has really warmed up to those conferences.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The away team are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South Regional. The USC Trojans are seeking their first ever NCAA championship. The Mean Green of North Texas are our third number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Midwest Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our fourth number 1 seed will play in the West Regional. The away team are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 5th. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 7th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
The North Texas Mean Green. It's a surprise to me. They were on the fence as a number 1 seed, and in that situation, you always expect to see a major conference team win that tiebreaker. But the committee saw something in them that they liked.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The away team are the top seed, finishing at 35-1. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Big Ten. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Maine, with 13 wins, and Florida A&M from the MEAC. And now, the number 8 seed, the Marshall Thundering Herd, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the UNC Wilmington Seahawks, who were second in their conference, finishing at 20-10, finishing at 19-13. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Colonial Athletic Association, the Old Dominion Monarchs, with 17 wins. North Carolina enters the field as the number 4 seed from the ACC. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the San Francisco Dons. Finished the season with 15 wins.
The North Carolina Tar Heels do the one thing that all great teams absolutely must do, and that's play tremendous team defense. These guys have been shutting down opponents all year with a combination of speed, intelligence, and sheer determination. There have been NCAA championship teams of all shapes and sizes, but all of them played good, strong defense.
The away team are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Marquette Golden Eagles, with 19 wins. Louisville comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 23-11. Siena comes in to face them at number 14 with 17 wins in the tournament championship of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Our number 7 seed is from the Missouri Valley Conference. The Creighton Blue Jays had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Hampton Pirates, who were second in their conference, finishing at 21 and 11. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Maryland Terrapins are the regular season champions from the ACC. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the away team, with 18 wins. This will be their 8th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Looking into the future a little bit, this bracket looks poised for a titanic matchup in the regional final. If the top 2 seeds can take care of business in the first 3 rounds, we have the possibility of a classic Elite 8 meeting. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The USC Trojans are the top seed, finishing at 35-0. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Pac-10. They'll take on the away team, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 2nd appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. Texas A&M comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 21-9. Notre Dame comes in to face them at number 9 with 19 wins and a chance to make believers out of any doubters they might have. Duke enters the field as the number 5 seed from the ACC. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed. The away team finished the season with 22 wins.
The Duke Blue Devils are going to provide serious matchup problems to any team that doesn't have depth and defensive ability at both guard spots. They have outstanding backcourt play at both ends of the court. It's the main reason they've made it this far, and they're going to have to maintain that form if they want to do some damage in this tournament.
Alabama comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 23-10. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the Missouri Valley Conference, the away team, with 18 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the St. Louis Billikens, come into the tournament after finishing 2nd in their conference during the regular season and finished 2nd in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the away team, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-14. The away team are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Liberty Flames, with 19 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Sun Belt Conference. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Phoenix of Wisconsin Green Bay, with 20 wins. This will be their 5th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. Our number 2 seed is from the Big 12. The Kansas Jayhawks had a tremendous year that included a regular season championship. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Black Knights of Army, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 17-12. This bracket has the potential to give us a sensational matchup in the regional final if everything goes according to form and the top 2 seeds can survive the early rounds. On to our 3rd bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest Regional. The Mean Green of North Texas are the top seed and won. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the Sun Belt Conference. They'll take on the away team, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 3rd appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Our number 8 seed is from the ACC. The Virginia Cavaliers were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Georgetown Hoyas, who were regular season champions in their conference, finishing at 16-14. The Cincinnati Bearcats are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the away team, with 19 wins. From the ACC, this will be their 23rd appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed. The away team finished the season with 20 wins. Georgia Tech comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 17-13. And they take on the 11th seed from the Ivy League, the Yale Bulldogs, with 17 wins. And now the number 3 seed, the Memphis Tigers, come into the tournament on the strength of a 3rd-place finish in their conference regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the DePaul Blue Demons, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 16-18. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Butler Bulldogs, with 19 wins. This will be their 8th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Kentucky comes in as the number 2 seed, finishing at 24-8. Pacific comes in to face them at number 15 with 18 wins in the tournament championship of the Big West. On the surface, I'd have to say this regional might be the most difficult of the four. Certainly the depth of quality teams here is very impressive. Whoever emerges from this bracket will have been through some battles. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The away team are the top seed, finishing at 33-0. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the conference. They'll take on the Mountaineers of Mount St. Mary, the number 16 ranked team. This is their third appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. Next up is the number 8 seed, the Vanderbilt Commodores, have established themselves as one of the best teams from the SEC. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the away team, with 19 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. South Florida comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 19-13. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Southwestern Athletic Conference, the Texas Southern Tigers, with 22 wins. Michigan comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 20-11, with 16 wins in the tournament championship of the Horizon League. Our number 6 seed is from the Big 12. The Baylor Bears were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the New Mexico Lobos, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 22-11. The away team are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Clemson Tigers, with 15 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the Drexel Dragons, come into the tournament first in their conference during the regular season and finish second in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the away team, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-10. East Carolina enters the field as the number 2 seed from Conference USA. This is their third appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Nevada Wolfpack, finished the season with 16 wins.
The East Carolina Pirates will be an extremely dangerous team in this tournament, mainly because they have such terrific veteran leadership. Coaches love when they have guys on the floor that have been around the block a few times because they don't get rattled. They play with composure. I look at the experience of this team as something that could put them over the top.
Some of the lower seeds in this bracket have the ability to not only compete with the high seeds, but win a few games. The potential for a Cinderella or two in this bracket is definitely there. Clark, how do you view this year's top 16?
There are no real off-the-wall picks that jump out at me. These 16 teams are all pretty deserving. Let's give the committee some props this year. Kansas might be a number 2 seed, but they have as much talent as any other team out there. If they can figure out how to gel together this tournament, they'll have a good chance at a title.
Now, let's bring the conference picture into focus. The Big East gets 10 teams. The ACC with 8. 4 out of the Colonial Athletic Conference. Conference USA gets 4 teams.
It was really an up year for the teams in the Colonial Athletic Association. They topped the non-power conferences with the number of bids they got, and it shows you how far this conference has come. They're becoming dominant at that level.
And let's not forget the teams out of the MEAC. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in the Mountain West Conference. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there, but this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Here's the list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday. So, partner, which of those invitees should be sending the selection committee a thank you card?
Wisconsin Green Bay must feel a whole lot better now than they did before the show started. Their ticket is punched, and they're on their way to the dance. But frankly, I'm not sure for just how long they'll be dancing.
While those teams are celebrating getting into the tournament, let's take a look at the other teams who were on the short end of the stick.
Oklahoma did not have a strong finish to the season, and it cost them an NCAA tournament bid. That just goes to show you how much weight the committee places on how you're playing at the end of a season.
Thanks, Clark. I'm sure that this year will provide us with all the thrills and excitement that we've come to expect from the tournament.
Greg, let's throw the ball up right now. I can't wait to get started. I hope this is an NCAA tournament that gives a lot of those special moments that stay with us for years to come.
For my partner Clark Kellogg and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studios, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.